Thank you, sir. Good morning. Today is July 31st, 2023. The time is now 9 a.m. and I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners, and I will call this meeting to order. If you do have cell phones, if you could please silence them at this time, I'd appreciate it. Yeah, it'd be nice. And if you would join me for the pledge and for the invocation. Lisa, would you?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we come before you here this morning, Lord, and we just ask that as we come together to take care of the business of the county, that you would be with us. We ask for your direction, for your guidance, for your wisdom. We just ask that you would direct the proceedings moving forward. We just ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. If we get a roll call, please.
Commissioner Day,
Present.
Commissioner Canada,
Here.
Commissioner Flower,
Present.
and
All right, and audience introductions, we'll start there with you, Lisa.
Lisa Bevan, Finance and Resources.
Back here. Introductions.
Oh, sorry, Dennis Haggerty, Rotary Club of Wet Mountain Valley. Chairman over, Cornerberg Flats.
Barbie Henry, citizen.
Patrick Henry, citizen. Stephen Wilcox, another citizen.
Joni Wilcox, citizen.
Brian McLaughlin, Cornerberg.
Rosemary Stoller, Cornelius.
Jim Chaplin, rural Westcliff. Mike Allen, citizen.
Lucas out, Westcliff.
All right, welcome, everybody, and if you go to speak later, if you could identify yourself for the record, that would be great. And we do have a few people online as well, I believe, so. Do we have any amendments to the agenda?
Not from me.
Okay, none here either. I don't think we had minutes for this meeting. Commissioner items, Commissioner Flower. Thanks, sir. I have this pulled up. Apologies. Oh, boy, let's see. I guess since our last meeting, July 20th, I attended the CES meeting, Search and Rescue Building. Also had a 911 meeting at the town of Silver Cliff that same day. See, the 26th, attended the special BOCC meeting to select candidates to interview. And then we also conducted an executive session with Baseline Engineering for negotiations on a contract with them. 27th, attended the finance workshop, followed by a closed workshop to interview candidates. And the 29th, Saturday, attended the first anniversary celebration of Custer County Recycles. So that's what I have done. Well, I have some.
Couple of same things, not anything significant to add, other than I find myself on a committee with Action 22 for broadband's big deal. A lot of activity on that, so I'll be doing that as part of the Action 22, the 22 counties, if anybody for the audience or for the citizens' sake here. Action 22 is a group that keeps their eye on the legislative activities of this part of the country, on rural counties that we're part of. Broadband's a big deal. As you know, we have a broadband program that is the two towns and us, and that are putting in a program of grants. We are the first ready certified county and municipalities in the state. So they appreciated our help on that committee, and I'll be looking forward to representing Custer County on that.
Good question, if I may, since broadband, I've gotten some emails from
When's
SCED.
the next meeting? Yeah,
That is one of them, and SCED is, I know, moving forward with their program. Is that melded?
we're trying to
into ours
keep
as well?
conflicted, and they've been, Leslie's been, she was actually at the meeting when we were presented with the ready certified certificate. So she's well aware of what we've got, and we are working with her. So it's important to be deconflicted, because we can't have that derail our program.
Correct, that's why I wanted to make sure that, and I know she had stated that they were not gonna
Yeah.
do that, but I wanted
She
to
claims,
stay on
we
top of
gotta
that.
be sure.
Right. So, all right, anything else, sir?
No.
All right, thank you. And nothing new on mine, some of the same meetings and things of that nature. I would make note that we were scheduled on the agenda for tomorrow to make an appointment for the county manager position. Thank you for bringing it to our attention that needed to have a 14-day posting on that. So that has been rescheduled for the agenda on the 16th in Wetmore.
Okay, good, thanks.
You bet. Okay. And our attorney is not here, so we don't have any attorney items at this time. And the same with the admin. That will take us to public comment. If anyone has anything they'd like to comment on that's not on the agenda, please feel free to do so at this time.
My name is Jim Wilby, and it is my understanding that you basically ran this new position down our throats of county manager, not posting. We are one of the smallest counties in Colorado, 51st out of 64 counties. Many of the counties larger than us do not have a manager. We don't need a manager. It's my understanding that you gentlemen work 18 hours a month. You probably work 18 hours a month, and you're paid between $45,000 and $90,000 a year, which comes out to $200 to $500 an hour for your work, not bad pay. May I suggest, or not even suggest, that we the people don't want this. We want this taken away from the books. We do not need a county manager. You can do the job. You do the job. Rather than allocating the monies to a frivolous position of $130,000 a year, this person will make.
It was posted for 75 to 100,000
Okay.
With benefits.
with benefit.
Okay.
With benefits are above that.
Road and bridge is very short of people with three positions short. They need the money. More importantly, the sheriff's department lives, for the most part, where many of them anyway, down the hill in Pueblo, a 3-hour commute round trip. That's in good weather, where they could be spending 3 hours a day extra with their families. They put their lives on the line for us every day. Rather than putting it into a frivolous position that's not needed, which you could easily do yourself by putting another 2 or 3 hours a month. Give the money to the sheriff's department. And Commissioner Flower, you mentioned one of the meetings back that you wanted affordable housing. I disagreed with that. But after having thought about it, sir, I agree. We could use affordable housing in Custer County. Again, give it to the sheriff's department so they can live up here. They're among the lowest paid in Colorado, and use this as a proving ground and a testing and learning ground, and then move on. And I can't blame them. They need more money. So rather than allocating the money to a position we don't need, give it to our sheriff's department. Give it to the road commission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm a citizen here who just had 115% increase in my property tax. I am a citizen who's a senior with very limited social security income. I am a citizen who cannot afford an additional $200,000 a year, which actually equates down to $200 for me every year. I've heard an overabundance of dialogue from commissioners who have an arrogance of power, secret meetings, disdain for the citizens, refusal to hear citizens' grievances, desire for great greed, and open deception toward the taxpayers of this fine county. The county manager position rollout has been botched from the beginning, was illegal and had to be rescinded, with citizens overwhelmingly voicing their opinion that it is a complete waste of money for a small county. The current commissioners are not doing their jobs managing 40+ employees that they were hired to supervise. And it has been stated by Jim how much money you're paid to do this. Commissioners are publicly agreeing to hear a full analysis team July 31 before making any decision on, quote, whether to establish a county manager position or not, end quote. Then 2 BOCC meetings later, without a public meeting or hearing, create it and hire for it. The position posting was only 5 days. Protocol should be at least 30. Sounds like you've made an adjustment here. Hiring selection, before hearing the analysis team that you publicly stated you would listen to. Workshop that was pushed through county manager policy manual and total refusal to hear public comment until the end, excluding comment from an expert, a county commissioner in a different county who had vast knowledge and experience. The county insurance carrier stated, advising that the manual should have full public disclosure. The carrier, Colorado Technical Services, and you did not do that. We have publicly heard Commissioner Flowers say, we decide what's right for the county and not the citizens. We have heard him say, accountability is not caving into a bunch of yayas. I am a yaya, I'm a taxpayer, and I pay your salary. It is demeaning to sit here and put up with this. Commissioner Flowers said, we are citizens, we hire you, we pay you. You should listen to us. Day, Commissioner Day openly admitted in rushing the county manager job because Flower recall on August 8th, because despite objections from the public, not wanting to hear from citizens and what they have to say. This is the most powerful job in the county. Should have a final review, input from citizens, and you refuse to hear us or do anything about it. To you, Commissioners Day and Commissioner Flower, if you don't do your job, get out. If you won't follow the law, get out. If you won't listen to the citizens, get out. Let freedom ring in our county, our fine county of Custer County.
I know Commissioner Canada understood it. To the two gentlemen, I think we missed a few words in the Pledge of Allegiance. And to the republic, this is not a socialistic county. This is still a republic. You do, as Barbie said, answer to us. We sign your paychecks. We are your bosses. Show us some respect and vote the way we want, not the way you want.
Thank you. Yeah.
I don't have either person. The last two people that talked didn't identify themselves.
Could you identify yourself, please?
I am Barbie Henry.
All right. And could you identify yourself again, sir?
Yes, you're Jim Wilson.
Thank you.
I'm Ken Kahn, and this is reminding me, this county is reminding me more and more of what's going on in our federal government right now. It's just so frustrating knowing patriots don't do anything. And money seems to be changing everyone. It's their idols right now. It's so obvious. If this isn't obvious to everyone, I know it is here. It's getting socialistic and pretty soon will be communistic. But no one's doing anything about it. Least of all, I thought our county would be the safest place. But flowers should keep on roaming. That's what I think. I'm just so frustrated with all these secret meetings and just so much the same as our federal government going with Obama and Biden. Everything's secret. Deleting everything we believe in. No more freedoms. They're taking them away. And like Barbie says, the taxes will be going sky high. Another thing that I'm so frustrated in is this Dominion machine crap. It's
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
keeping our country
Yes.
locked down into Chinese and Russian rule. And whether you know it or not, and whether you admit it or not, there's ties to the internet. And whether they don't use that here in Custer County, what's the reason for it? If they do the counting anyway, why are we being charged for a Dominion machine where they could change it at any time? And that's, I'm suspicious of the way, we're gonna be using this Dominion machine in the coming years if we don't get rid of it. Honesty is gone. Please, Lord, help our country. Please, God, please help us. Get us back to our founding fathers believe. Well,
And this was Kenneth Kahn.
yeah. You love, and there's a true believer. But something has to be done, and like, obviously, I don't know, I didn't want to really know to find out what the result is when your meetings before this. Anyway, the rest of my days.
Okay. Anyone else? Sir?
Mike Allen, Porterbury. The way this county manager position establishment is being run is wrong.
Yes.
All of them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Patrick Henry. So we believe that the county manager position is made up and manufactured for a particular individual. It is wrong, it is secretive, and it's not what we want in our county. We can't afford it, people can't afford it. And again, what NCON said, the Dominion machines are not needed here, we need a hand count ballot.
It is verified.
Thank you.
And then they'll put the change of money.
Anyone else? Not seeing anyone online. Thank you for your comments this morning. We have no unfinished business on the agenda. Now we will move on to the new business. First item up would be the consideration of the accounts payable and the out-of-cycle checks.
Morning.
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 Thanks for bringing the checks.
You're very welcome. All right.
And let's see, let's go to out of cycle first.
I'll move, we accept the out-of-cycle checks as she presents it.
I would second that motion. So we have a motion on the floor to accept the out of cycle checks as presented. Discussion.
In the amount of $33,268.38.
Yes, sir.
That is correct. Any questions, concerns?
I didn't have.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Those in favor then of accepting the out of cycle report as presented signify by saying aye.
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 That motion carries. The next item of, next would be the accounts payable. And that is in the sum of $554,511.55. Oh, go ahead.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to approve the accounts payable as presented. And that is for a sum of $554,511.55. Discussion.
Do you have any concerns, Lisa?
I don't.
I had a couple of things that I talked to her about earlier.
Yeah.
One was I had a question because we had a new visa GC,
Yeah,
and she informed me that that was actually the new billing for all of the email addresses. She had checked with Vernon on that.
yep. Vernon has been itemizing it and applying it to every account. Also, we had our annual Chet Haga Trust payment for 50,000. We had a one-time payment for, I think, $8,700 for one of the vehicles for the sheriff's department. And other than that, it's pretty much business as usual as far as our expenditures go.
I have a question.
You may.
Could you make a note? I'm thinking that if you could send me a copy of the invoice from the Tribune for the public notice on the sidewalk project.
Oh, sure.
I will check to see if I can submit that for reimbursement on.
Oh, perfect.
On the CDOT grant. I don't know if it's eligible or not, but I'll certainly follow up on a lot of money, $42, but
Hey, every bit counts.
Yeah.
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Anything else?
No, I think so. I think I got my questions answered.
And nothing else from you, sir?
Just
All right, so those in favor of approving the accounts payable as presented in the sum of $554,511.55, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries.
great.
We're all done.
Good day.
You too.
See you later.
Thanks. Remain standing for her.
Yeah, we should. So you are up now. So the next item is our consideration of approval of the core services plan for human services.
You guys, thanks for fitting me in on this since we had to get this done. Appreciate it. We sent that to you before, but I know it can be confusing. But basically, we get funding for prevention programs from the state. There's no county dollars attached to it. It's all state funded. And we get a certain amount and we break it out into different categories that we have. And this is the section that I'm talking about, this section here, which talks about, it's page 18.
Thank you.
Yeah, it talks about which programs that we're going to fund. And then.
Hey, before you go further,
Mhm.
is this a lot different than before?
No.
Is it any different? Can you point those out?
No, it's basically the same. The dollar amounts have changed because our funding has changed a little bit. We get a little bit more and we break it up a little bit differently, but outside of that.
And how many times a year?
This is
do this once every 5 years?
well, no, this is 3 years. It's,
Every 3?
yeah,
Okay.
it goes through 2026.
And you talked to the state about it?
No, they just, well,
they
they
just-
sent the plan to us.
You haven't had any discussion?
No, and so we decide how much money we want to spend on home prevention in intensive family therapy, that type of thing. And we decide which ones we're gonna fund at what level, and then, but they give us, they give us a certain amount of money. And so we just break it out into what
Do
we
they
want.
usually give you what you ask for?
Yes, yeah, I have an allocation for this, yes. But, if we go over that, which we don't, we always make sure we stay in our, we only have so much budget for that and we don't go over that. There have been times where we'd be able at the end to move one, like if we don't use our home-based services and we use it for intensive family therapy and we're over, we can move it around. So they'll let us do that,
That's good.
but we never go over the amount that we're funded.
Okay.
And so that's what that's about, and I just need signatures here.
All right, I move we accept the plan that you presented.
Second.
Motion on the floor to approve the core services plan for human services.
Good.
Any further discussion on that?
Did you ask for enough to cover inflation? Given
I don't get to ask anything. They
So, but you
give us,
said you always put it, all right, so all we're doing is, why are there numbers in here?
because we get a lump sum and then we have to break it out into the
So you
different
know what the
categories.
lump sum is.
Oh, yes.
Okay. that's what-
Oh, yeah, yes. And so we have to put it into the different
Okay.
categories.
That makes sense.
We just have a certain amount and we break it out into what the ones we think we're gonna need the most.
Right, and if it doesn't work out during the year, you.
Sometimes-
work with them and they
yes.
give you more or not.
They don't give us more, we can just move
Or we
it.
can just,
We can move it out of this line item into this line item.
if you got it to get,
Oh, well, we don't,
if you have enough in another line item.
Yes,
to do it.
yes.
Otherwise, you don't do it.
well, no, we don't do it because we
Right.
can't do it.
Right.
Yeah, no, we don't do it. Yeah, I mean, we have a certain amount of money and that's what we use.
You have a signature page.
I do. I got a signature page here.
I know nobody out here has seen this, but I would open it up. If there's public comment on this item before we vote. Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to approve the core services plan for human services. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 That motion carries.
Yeah,
We're the contractor, correct?
this is they sent us a weird template and then they gave us another one. So this is actually
So it's not the same.
no, it's what you have there is if we do a contract for somebody to do family services, that's a contract that we give them.
Got it.
And so it was attached to this, that there was a signature page on a different thing.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought it's fun.
All right.
This sign for you before you leave. You get it, right?
No, no,
To bring you a copy.
yeah, I sign it and then usually they get back to me with something and then she gets a copy of it. Yeah, oh, there it is. I had a paper clip, but I couldn't find it. I'm like, where's my paper clip?
You bunch right there.
I know I saw that, but I was like, where's mine? Okay. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
All right. See you guys later.
Have a good day.
You
See you,
too.
Lauren.
See you later, Gator.
Okay, our next item up on our agenda would be the consideration of approval of the special events permit for the Wet Mountain Valley Rotary Club.
Are you the guinea pig for that too, Dennis?
I guess I am.
So, Dennis brought an application in, for a special events permit. They're having a fundraiser on August 26th. You guys have a copy of the application. They have to have a drawing of their premises. They have a letter of permission from Beckwith because that's where it's being held at. And then their letter of good standing from Secretary of State's office. I have checks for both the state and the county, each of those in the amount of $25. And if you have any questions, Dennis is here that he can tell you a little bit about his event that they're having. If you have any questions.
Did you want to speak about it or?
Well, I just wanted to say that it's a free event, open to the public with live music all day. People are allowed to bring food, but they're not allowed to bring alcohol. And since there is some net profit gained by selling liquids, that's why we're applying for the permit. There will be 2 food trucks. I've scoped out the area, I've been out there many times, and the entire property is rimmed by barbed wire with there's an open area that you can walk into, and that's going to be a rope top with alcohol beyond this point. The money will be raised by us and all the performers announcing that we're open for donations. All the funds will go to Rotary youth projects that we support both locally and internationally.
So when you said no alcohol, that means outside the.
Yeah, no
boundaries,
alcohol. Well,
Not, you can't bring your own in and you can't take the stuff. you
No,
buy
I
out.
was at the Bluegrass Festival and there was a nice big gold sign that said no alcohol beyond this point. I said, that's what I need, 3 of those, and I'm gonna borrow them from the
Okay,
Bluegrass.
so that they just buy it there.
They can only, yeah, it's illegal to, I
Right,
don't know if it's county law or state law, but it's illegal to bring alcohol onto the premises.
right.
Okay. Anything else? Just making sure you were done here.
Yeah.
Okay,
I move we accept the permit and the application that Rotary Club presented.
I would second that motion. So now we have a motion on the floor to approve the special events permit for the Wet Mountain Valley Rotary Club. And discussion.
Yeah, a question, Karen.
Okay, sir.
So our special events permit may or may not include alcohol, is that correct?
No, this is separate from, I'm assuming you're talking about the special event permit that goes through zoning,
Yes,
totally separate deal.
this is because of the alcohol.
Yes.
Yeah. And does zoning, this supersedes them?
No, so Dorothy actually came over and asked me about it because she thought that it was for her. And so we had a discussion about that. No, their special event permit is totally, it's not for events like this.
So when you say events like this, is the defining difference alcohol or no?
No,
So if they didn't have alcohol, they'd still have to go through this.
no,
Okay,
if they didn't have alcohol,
They're already permitted for events out there. Other than
well,
that, like-
not necessarily. I mean, I don't know.
like weddings.
Yeah, you don't have to have a permit for a wedding. You don't have to have a permit for events like this unless you're.
so it's the alcohol that's
Yeah,
Right.
necessitated this permit being filed.
yes.
Okay, that's my question.
You, sir. I like your drawing, by the way. Okay, any other discussion? Anything from the audience?
I'd like clarification, didn't quite understand or hear you clearly, Mr. Day, about this position, this county manager position. something-
We're on discussion, excuse me, we're on discussion on the item of business that we got here.
Moved on to public comment.
No,
There's a public comment on each item considered.
Thank you, Commissioner King. I have a question. What is the date that's?
That you wanted a poster?
Your band playing, Dennis?
Hand this to you.
Which band are you in that line?
Silver lining.
Silver Lining?
Yeah.
thank you.
Nothing online.
I see nothing online either. So we are getting our little glitch. All right, so I do have a motion on the floor then to approve the special events permit for the Wet Mountain Valley Rotary Club. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye,
That motion carries.
good luck, Mr. Dennis.
As soon as I get the stuff in the state, I'll let you,
Should I take the poster down and thank you?
you can take the post it in.
About the sleep band.
And do we need to sign that?
Yes, I'll give it to.
This meeting's
That
carried.
would be
Dave.
Mr. Day or Kevin or Mr. Chairman.
Yes. one of those.
One of those people.
Yeah.
That works. All right. So now we have on the agenda, the consideration of the budget resolution 23-07 for the landfill.
Top of the morning.
Good. Good. Oh, hey.
So it's pretty straightforward. From 29 to 58,000 for the scraper.
Why don't we read it for the public record, just pretty short, so everybody knows.
You want me to read it or you want to read it?
I can read it.
Go ahead.
Give you a break there. Okay, resolution number 23-07, resolution for supplemental budget and appropriation. A resolution appropriating additional sums of money to defraying expenses in excess of amounts budgeted for Custer County, Colorado. Whereas,
Should be Custer County is.
or
the land.
Budgeted for Custer County. Yeah,
Probably landfill is. Landfill.
it should be probably for the Custer County landfill.
Yeah.
Amounts budgeted for Custer County landfill. You make that notation. So whereas the landfill is in need of a scraper for a longer period of time than previously forecasted to continue digging trenches. Whereas the landfill director has an opportunity to enter into a contract once again for $29,000 for the rental of a scraper. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Custer County, Colorado. Section 1, that the 2023 appropriation for the scraper rent expense line with the numerical designation for that is hereby increased by 29,000 to go from 29,000 to 58,000.
I'll move to adopt this resolution.
Oh.
23-07.
I'll second it, then we can discuss it.
Is that as amended here?
Yes, to add in the first whereas Custer County landfill.
Okay, so the first question I have is pretty simple, just so it's clear to everybody. We're not asking for additional money. We're in discussion.
That's already in the past. So assuming that a fund combined 29,000.
To go with this. Is that right? That's a question for.
So, yeah, have to come out of general fund.
General fund.
Certainly not the landfill budget.
No,
We
and that's,
wouldn't be here.
and that's a question for, Braden, and you probably got it identified. That shouldn't be an issue. Is that
Yeah,
right?
that comes from the fund balance, so it's not an issue.
Number of hours,
160 hours,
or
160,
160.
yeah. 1 month.
And I believe I saw in an email from you that the existing pits would would not take us through to,
They would not get us through the winter without digging this third trench. So it's definitely necessary.
and this is the last trench available before the area.
For the area fill, correct,
And
which has
we-
not been approved yet,
And you can get it before freezing, right?
correct, Yeah.
Just rental.
right.
So quick question then, the two existing trenches, I guess we've already filled one.
Filled the first one,
Filled the
correct,
first. Are they filling up quicker than what we?
No.
you Anticipated?
They're
or
on
pretty much
average.
on average?
what the engineers thought, yeah,
Okay.
actually a little over. Because I dug the ends out, so we got 7.5 months out of that first trench. This second one probably won't be that long because of the summer, we're just getting more volume of trash.
It's third trench, 570 feet, he said.
570 feet. We won't be able to dig that all within the 160 hours. It'll be close, but then we'll finish it next year. So
Get it all completed on one end and
we'll get to one end. Yep, correct.
And the engineers estimate the lifespan of this trench for how long?
1 year.
1 year.
So we got 1.5 years before the area fill needs to be approved. And so hopefully I hear back from them on the area fill soon.
so they give you no indication of when
No,
that might be.
no. I wish. But since like January, we've been going through the process, so I'm hoping to hear back from them soon.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. We have to do this, and we're in trouble.
Anything else? Sir?
Start date,
Probably next week. Yeah. I'll probably get it out there I gotta get the contract, with Sean. We just gotta change the date, get the contract signed and then, deliver it.
He did have a scraper available.
does this include delivery or do we go get it?
You need to talk to him. I might just ask him if I can drive it out there. But I'll talk to him.
I'm not gonna haul it.
They're not gonna haul it now. It's in town.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah.
It'd be better taking it out yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
If he lets me.
depends on when you take liability.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Anything else here? Okay, any questions on this item? Comments? And I'm not seeing anything online. Okay, so those in favor of adopting budget resolution 23-07, resolution for supplemental budget and appropriation, please signify by saying aye.
Right,
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries.
Perfect.
You want me to rewrite it? I will clean copy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me of that.
all right, sir.
Good.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a pleasant drive out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do we have any additional items of business at this time?
No, sir.
Well, the only thing I had, I can wait. I do have a commitment at this afternoon, so I have to leave at 12:30.
Point of
Goal to
interest.
suit for, yeah.
Okay. That works. All righty. And that will take us to public comment at this time, so. If we have anyone that would like to make public comment.
Yes, I need clarification, please. There was a scheduled review analysis for whether to establish county manager position or not. Was supposed to be made today. I think people that came today were wanting to hear that presentation. And are surprised that we don't have anything to listen to. As well as I did not understand what you were saying about a 14-day posting, August 16. Could you please repeat that?
Okay, just 1 second and I will address that.
Thank you.
What is on the agenda today is that we interviewed 4 candidates on the 27th. And today we have scheduled an executive session to go in and to discuss those, followed by coming back into an open meeting and presenting any finalists to move forward, at which time we will announce the finalists, and there will be a 14-day posting before any decision can be made on that,
14-day posting of Western,
of the finalists for that position,
more than one finalist,
1 or more.
without public comment, without hearing of this scheduled team presentation Mr. Candy asked for. We've all been waiting to hear this team review of whether a county manager position is needed or wanted by the people.
That is correct. Commissioner Kanda has chosen not to bring that. He was afforded that opportunity and he chose not to bring that to the board.
And I'll make a comment on that. The reason for that was, it was illogical to have a presentation on the day we're selecting the county manager with people already interviewed. There was no point because it's gonna change our mind.
Well,
That
we all
didn't make sense and we needed that. And so because of the circumstances, the rush, my words, to get it done before the recall, then there was no point in presenting.
But we
However-
hear that.
Right, well, and that's something that could be considered possibly now because we've got time to perhaps do that. Now, that would be something that I was planning to bring up once we have a discussion on where we stand. That's my position. But that's what happened.
But we as citizens of this county were promised by you, you gave us your word that we would be able to hear this, that it would not be forced down our throats, that the citizens would be able to have review of this information and have public input. And you have again and again and again refused to allow us to hear, be part of, or have any intervention in this situation. You've shoved it down our throats. We can't afford it. We don't want it. And you're still doing the same thing right now, going into a private session, discussing personal information and going ahead, even though the people of this county have said, no, we don't want this. What you're doing is wrong. It was illegal. You had to step back and cover your butts. We're sick of it. You're being paid huge amounts of money. And you're deceiving us.
And isn't it illegal?
Could you identify yourself, ma'am?
Karen Kahn,
Thank you.
retired high school teacher from Boulder, Colorado. Isn't it illegal for the commissioners to initiate a job that hasn't even been voted on? And isn't it something, as a teacher, I know, and probably Flower knows too, how much prior work you put into all of this information? And I'm wondering, why can't the commissioners just do their job? And not have a person in charge of the commissioners? Okay, I rest my case.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, this is Patrick Henry. Commissioner Flower. Hello, can you perform your duties as described in your job description?
I certainly can, yes.
Commissioner Day, can you perform the duties as described in your job description?
Yes, I can.
Commissioner Canada, can you perform the duties? as described in
You
your
bet.
job description? Then why do we need a county manager? Anyone explain that to us? please?
We've never had the opportunity to hear this, and my husband is asking the question, gentlemen.
I will not go into that at this point.
You refuse to answer my question.
You can take it that way if you'd like, sir.
Does anyone have a?
This is a public comment period. There's not a time for back and forth.
Has to be secret.
Anyone else?
Backdoor dealings.
And Karen Connigan, and who oversees the commissioners, like a principal in a high school? Who oversees the commissioner and the superintendent? Who oversees the commissioners?
My answer is it's you. It's the citizens of the county, and that's what I've always maintained.
Thank you, Mr. Canada. And your mother
And that's-
would agree. I liked your mother a lot.
Thank you.
And we just need to know who is supervising you, all of you inclusive. You know, and no one listens to us. We're just cattle, we're just steeples, yeah. I'm sorry, but that's my high school teaching.
Thank you.
30 years, Boulder Valley, 30 years.
And you were accountable.
Yeah,
These gentlemen in front of us are not accountable, and they choose not to share with us information we're asking for.
every 4 or 5 years, we had to be supervised. And boy, they really came down on us I was accountable to the principal, the parents, and the students. And I listened to all of them. And I retired in good standing. Good standing. Go ahead.
I just say, FinCon, I was a system engineer for Northrop Grumman. and Let's just say a very high price. Being aware of some of these things that are happening behind closed doors. The only thing that made me retire was my hearing. During a meeting like this, I'd ask someone to repeat themselves 3 times and still don't hear him, so I figured it's time to ask them to repeat themselves again, I still didn't hear. So I retired, but I mean, that didn't, it was the start of the computer generation. There was an electronic engineer, assistant engineer, electronic engineer, requirements engineer, and testing engineer. So Northern Brown Maintenance Systems. We all had someone above us to tell us what to do, and I was a self-starter, so someone didn't have to tell me to do something. I did it, what was right. And I've got so many different monetary awards because of it through all my careers. Was Northrop Grumman, Martin Marietta, Harris Corporation in Florida. I just like 4 or 5. I started out as a news aircraft space and comm. But anyway, that's all superfluous. But my point is that we always have someone above us telling us what to do. And since we help each other out all the time for the good of the company and for the good of the country. We were looking down from above from satellites. Engineering, building the infrared systems. I just shake my head, what's going on? I just can't believe our country is falling so far, let alone our own county. So suffice it to say that I'm a Christian and I just pray the Lord knows he's doing what he needs to do. There's so many falling away. We just have to agree with everything he tells us to do. I pray for all these people too, especially safety and security. So that's my basic. Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Let me make one statement just from my point of view only. It's not the board speaking. I want to clarify some things. As you all are, in my view, are bosses. The public comment we offered, you just did, is fine. We also, if you look at the agenda, there's another opportunity to have public comment on what we're considering. But each item we consider is always, that's in the interest of transparency. And one of the things that I will propose later, but because I still truly believe in it, then the options that we had asked, that I had asked to put the team together and make available. Perhaps there is an opportunity to do that. I just mentioned that earlier, and I can bring that up when we get into this discussion. Because we can table this to, if we voted to do that, to allow that to happen, because the recall is not an issue any longer because of the law that Kevin brought up, and the reason we had the 2-week period before we can make an offer to the finalists, whoever they are. So that's a possibility, but the point is, I'm saying this in all honesty, we bend over backwards as a board to give a public opportunity to comment. You just got to know when you can, and sometimes it's hard to just get the agendas. We've had problems with that. So now you see the way it's laid out here, and we'll just go from there, because we'll have a discussion and then on how to proceed in the executive session, and then we'll come out and we'll see what it means.
I like the idea of tabling it. I like that.
Many of us do. And there are many people that couldn't be here today. And many of the people that pay your salaries, gentlemen, are working. They're working to hang onto their homes, to pay their property taxes, to pay their bills. They can't be here because they're working. You can't hear their voices. Although they're very angry, as many of us are too. Many people could not be here today. So I very much appreciate the offer, and
If we can,
if you could
that's
table
my
that.
position.
I thank you for making that presentation, and I ask the other two commissioners to go along with it.
Anything else in here? Anything online?
I would move that we go into executive session for personnel matter.
I'll say.
Did you second? Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to go into executive session for a personnel matter. For CRS 24-6-402, parent 4, parent F. All those in favor, signify.
That will attend that, sir.
Attendees at this meeting will be. I guess you made the motion.
Good point. I would request the 3 county commissioners and the clerk to the board.
Okay. And if needed, I believe that attorney,
Invite Mr. Slater to phone in.
he is available if we need him.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right.
Okay, that motion carries. I will recess this BOCC meeting. We will reconvene in executive session, and we will come back out of that to into open meeting to finish up our agenda. So at this time, we are going to go into executive session. So I would need to ask everyone here in the audience if they could leave until we're done with executive session. And then you are free to come back in. Yeah.
Looks like maybe he just did it. Let me see if I can get on it.
You have to make sure that in case someone would like to join us again,
Just make sure we're, looks like it.
I'm seeing us, yes.
You grab, there's one sign underneath the, you'll see, find it. Is,
No, both down, right?
no, just the one. That, that one says for people to go around if they want HR, just the one in your right.
And then if you would stick,
No. Turn it in noisy. Turn it out, there you go.
Warm out there?
No, it's hot.
You guys look like it's glowing.
Yeah. We probably don't have suntan's now.
You all have sometimes.
Well, we were conversing, but we're trying real hard not to be putting out hot air.
Yeah. I think we're hot, but there's no way you can do that.
well, thank you for your patience waiting on us. Okay, you ready, Kelly? Okay. The time is now 11:13 a.m. and the executive session has been concluded. The participants in the executive session were myself, Kevin Day, Commissioner Tom Flower, Commissioner Bill Kanda, Clerk to the Board Kelly Camper, and the County Attorney Dan Slater. For the record, if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meetings law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record now. And Dan, if you could make a statement, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I would attest that the content of the executive session remained on topic as to personnel matters regarding the appointment of a county manager and the candidate for that appointment as outlined in the motion to go into executive session. And I don't believe the discussion went outside of the confines.
Thank you, sir. Okay, we have one additional item of business on our agenda today, and that would be the consideration of selecting finalists for the county manager position. And given the applications and the resumes that we received and the interviews that we went through, I would state that we received 8 applications for this position. We did interview 4. One has since withdrawn their name from consideration. Based on all of the criteria that was put forth in the interviews and that process, I would move to name candidate A as the finalist for the position of county manager. And upon passage of the motion, that the name would be made public.
I'll second that.
So I have a motion on the floor to name candidate A as the finalist for the county manager position, and upon passage of this, that the name would be made public. And entering into discussion, I would say as well, during our discussions, a bio letter would be provided from any finalists that move forward to be put out so that any concerns that could be addressed and that any public comment on that could be returned to us. Probably the best way so that all three commissioners receive those comments would be to the BOCC admin email address at the county. So that's BOCC admin at
Custer County -CO.
at custercounty-co.gov. And so that we could have that information before any final decisions are made. Any further discussion here?
Can I ask a question about what he just said? So this bio is gonna be part of the Open Records Act request?
I think that bio will be put out on the website and made public for anyone to be able to pull at any time.
Anything else? Quarter request?
Yes,
Okay.
Discussion.
we're in discussion.
You got anything else to say, Tom?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, I object partially. I think, for the good of the county, selecting the best qualified person, by the way, this statement has got to be said. We have not selected a finalist. We are a candidate and are not about to do that until a 2-week period of time passes, and then we will make that final selection and offer that job at that time. We're not offering a job. that-
May offer that job.
May
not.
or may not. That's what I wanted to get out. It may not be in the best interest after that 2-week period of learning more things. I also think that we need 2 candidates to consider to hit the home stretch. Based on my analysis of the candidates that are left, I feel that candidate G should be added because of good reasons. In order to, in my view, this candidate is better qualified. That's my opinion. And so I believe that it would deserve a good debate at the end of the 2-week period of time on the qualifications of both of these candidates before we make that final selection, or not hire either one of them. So I would like to see the motion to be amended to include the 2 candidates, candidate A and G.
In all honesty,
Time I'll serve point of order.
go ahead.
Get it?
If Commissioner Candle wants to make that a motion, then we need to deal with that. He said he'd like to, but that doesn't mean he did
I
it.
did not hear it as a motion.
If there's it. Sorry.
So
I will move that we include candidate G and to the consideration.
do I have a second?
No, sir.
That motion will die due to a lack of a second.
The
I will
amendment.
address that though.
The amendment.
The amendment will die due to a lack of a second. But I will address that. In all honesty, I had another candidate. The other remaining candidates scored higher than candidate G. And if that were to move forward, that would have been more my preference. I just could not support that.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm at. Candidate G was 3rd in my ranking. I respectfully disagree. I don't think he's the best qualified candidate, or I would support your amendment. So differences of opinions.
One more comment, then we don't know that he's the best candidate yet because
No,
we're not making that decision.
No, but I thought you said.
I said-
You thought he was. the
I said
best
he
candidate.
was, I said he was worthy of us having an honest, hard debate, given that 2-week period of time that may change my mind and yours.
Well, what you
Because-
said, sir, was
because it's my view.
exactly.
I
that
know.
You felt he was the best
I
candidate,
felt
in
he
your
was.
opinion.
That's right.
Okay,
And so I think it's worthy of considering.
gotcha.
Same reason you guys didn't think so. But I thought that with given that we're not making the final selection, I mean, that's the same, almost the same thing. We're saying, only choice we have now is we either hire them or we don't.
Correct.
My view is we either take a hard look at the period of time and what that did in the minds of the bio letter and the people and the comments we get back. Based on that, I think that would be the right thing to do for the citizens of the county. And then make that selection, or not.
I agree completely. We can have that whole process occur whether there's 1, 2, or 3
Right.
candidates.
And I would like to see it with two. Okay,
So into that, if we were to have another one, that would not, G would not be my choice.
that's irrelevant, but you're right. You can vote
That-
however you want.
Any other discussion here? Anything from the room?
Mr. Chairman,
That will be disclosed if this motion passes, and then we'll let you know. Yeah.
and so for the record, we are going to make public any biographical letter. Correct?
Yes,
It's a bio.
And anything other than that will have to be obtained going through the Colorado Open Records Act process.
yes.
Okay.
Sir,
Jim Shapland, and I've got to agree with Commissioner Kanda there that, you know, this is a very important position, and it kind of sounds like maybe there's 3 candidates that you all kind of thought was it. If you're putting it out there for the public to take a look at and give you input and everything, I think all 3 of them should be posted out there now and not later. Otherwise, I mean, this is a very important job, which I don't think is necessary, but that's beside the point. But I think, you know, if you've got possibly 3 good candidates, they should be put out so that people can give you our input on that and say, hey, you know, that was very good thinking there, Commissioner Day. I really like what you're thinking there. We need to go that way. Or not.
it is a very important position, and I'll respond to you on that. And based upon the information that we got and the interview process and the whole 9 yards. As I stated a minute ago, if we put forth another candidate, the one that was presented by Commissioner Kanda would not be my choice for that either. So, based upon the scoring. But thank you.
Okay, so Joni Wilcox, I'm confused. If you put out 3, like Jim suggested, would G be the 3rd candidate? Like, say if you have A and somebody else that you think would be 2nd, and then you would have a 3rd, which would be G. Is that not correct?
Correct. There are 3 remaining candidates that we were discussing. And my motion is to put forward one of those as a finalist.
Not do this suggestion, do them 3.
No,
I'll comment on that too, then. Each of us could have a different one, and in some cases, that could be the finalist. And what they're saying is they're not gonna agree with that. It's only one, so. Or we could do all 3. So that's the vote that's gonna be taken.
I understand that, and I thought, you know, if there's 3 of them there that you really considered more than the others and stuff, they ought to be put out there for the public to know, because maybe I know something about candidate B that none of you had heard. You know, I can call and say, hey, I happen to know this about, you know, it may be a very good thing. And it might say, oh, I didn't know that, maybe it'd be a little better. I think that would make it a better decision on your part when it comes time.
That's where I am, that's where I agree, but not to vote where I'm.
Mr. Chair,
You may.
at the risk of being criticized and all that, I respect Jim. We've been friends a long time. I'm gonna respond to what you're saying.
Okay,
I think I understand what you're saying. Here's the problem I have. Here's the issue. Nobody's gonna be privy to the information that us three are. Right? Because
Right.
we're the only ones that interviewed him.
Right,
So no one in this county is gonna have the inside knowledge that we three have. And the only three people that are getting paid to make this decision based on all the information, including input from the public, is us. Right? It's incumbent upon us to make this decision. Taking all the information that we can get, including applicant or application, resume, phone calls, public input, and the interview. Those are the things we have to go on to make our decision. From my standpoint, we did not have three good applicants to move forward as finalists, or I would have made the motion to include all three finalists. Does that make sense? I heard you say, this is what I heard you say. That, hey, if you've got three good applicants, then why not put them all forward? My opinion is that we do not have three good applicants to move to a finalist.
well, what I understood what you were talking there, that between the three of you, there probably was three different applicants that you thought. And that's why I thought if they were out there, if, they said, if I know something about
Right,
candidate B and stuff, I could call you and say, Tom, do you know such and such and stuff here? And you can say, yes, I know that and considered it. Okay, well, thank you for your time.
yeah, understood.
Or you might say, I never heard that about him. Are you sure? What's your source? I'll consider that. And if enough people call in, you say, wow, maybe this wasn't the best idea.
Understood, yeah, I agree with your thinking 100%. The problem in all of that is, this is where the divide comes, right, is that if this motion passes, I'm assuming it will, but if it does, then obviously our opinion is different than yours, that we didn't have three good applicants, that we only had one. That's the only difference. The rest of your thinking is spot on, and that's why the 14-day period. If we move a candidate to a finalist and in 14 days, we feel that that's not the best candidate, then we will not hire that candidate.
Understood.
Thank you.
Okay, so I got a last comment.
Okay, and then I think I have one online.
Okay. My position is, Jim, it's not three. I believe there's two after the interview. So, you keep throwing around three, but I strongly believe exactly what you're saying. Based on that, then the public deserves to see that and give me some input I may not know. And I agree with you 100%. But Tom was right, based on stuff you didn't see on the interviews and that kind of thing, and what we know, then that's what you're paying me to make that decision for. But I really believe strongly that it deserves the full vetting, and then to include, before we make that decision, two candidates. So, and then I guess you said there's somebody online.
I saw a note up here. Ann, did you have a comment? Sorry, I can't hear you. You're still not coming through.
Got audio problem.
She's not muted.
Maybe your mic's off.
Try it again, Ann. No,
Or call in on your phone.
I have somebody on my phone.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You still having a problem?
Perhaps you, Ann, if you,
On my number, shouldn't.
or could you type in the comments possibly? Let me see if I can get the comments. There's nothing in the chat. Okay.
I don't mind if she calls this phone.
While we're in this blow, I wanted to ask you a question, if I may, sir. All of the non-interview candidates were contacted, correct?
Yes. I do realize one contacted you before I had reached out, but all of the other candidates have been.
Okay, Ann, can you hear us?
I can hear you. I'm sorry about the audio things, and I'm gonna mute myself here. All right, is that clearer?
You're still getting an echo on your side.
You can't hear me on the phone?
We can hear you, we just hear the computer behind you. Mute or
So-
turn your volume all the way down on the computer.
Okay. All right, how about that?
Now you're talking.
Okay. What I was gonna say is that I've been following a similar situation for a top person in the Episcopal Church in New York. And it just so happened that they are in a search for a bishop. And they're having to follow the same procedures you are. And the thing is they're not making any decisions prior to this 14-day.
Right.
And to me, this bantering going back and forth sounds like you're making a decision before allowing the finalists. They posted their bios, they had on web, they have a letter from each as to answering certain questions as to how they would manage certain situations, which would apply to the county. And it's very open. They'll be having open discussions and meeting the candidates. And this process isn't being followed here. To me, it feels very strongly that it's already decided what's going to happen. Thank you.
Thanks, Ann. And no decision will be made until the 16th. But I understand what you're saying. Jordan, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I think just to clear up some confusion, in 2021, House Bill 1051 basically said what you guys have to do. If you guys come down to a finalist, that name has to be released for a 2-week period. So the reason you're doing this, which I think is appropriate, is that's what the Colorado statutes now say. It used to be that you had to release the names of 3 finalists for a position like this, but now it's 1 under the Open Records Act. So from my standpoint, from following that bill 2 years ago, this is exactly what the Colorado state law requires you to follow. So hopefully that, clears up some confusion for people in the public there.
Thank you. Did you have a comment on? Okay. I'm not seeing anything else online. Okay, so I have a motion on the floor. To name candidate A as the finalist for the position of county manager. And upon passage of this motion, that name will be released during this 14-day period. Those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed?
Nay, for the reason I stated before. I believe there should be 2 finalists based on my participation in the application process that should be vetted and then decided on in the 14-day period of time between the 2 or not hiring.
Thank you. And let the record show that it was a 2-to-1 vote, passed by a 2-to-1 vote, Commissioners Day and Flower. Aye, and Commissioner Kanda, nay. That concludes all of the business for today. No, it does not conclude all of the business today. I would announce that the candidate moving forward as a finalist will be Braden Wilson.
I move to adjourn.
I have a motion to adjourn.
Good, I can meet my appointment.
You say,
I'll second that.
all right, those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. This meeting is adjourned at 11:37 a.m. Dan, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'll have